एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद. Welcome, friends. So this is our next talk on who am I. We are in our last session. We have gone through the various forms of how the I is formed from a young age, how the conditioned mind forms an identity, and we crystallize that identity in various forms, various choices in the formation of this I, and this I which is governed by the karam. Ape beej, ape hi khao, nanak hukmi avo jao. As we as we sow, so we shall reap. This is the theory of this identity. So whatever we do in this identity form, that is what we live through. The repercussions are ours. The choices are also ours. We went through these different formations of how hukam is related to home and what is hukam. We've done this in the last session. Today, we will go through some deeper aspects of the understanding of the relation of hukam. And then, what do we mean when we say that life should be lived in acceptance? It seems like a cryptic kind of coded word. How does it relate to my daily life? What does acceptance mean? What is this acceptance about? And where do we start? How does it relate to my understanding of my ego? Living in acceptance, not an expectation. What does this really, how does this really happen? Or can this really happen at all? You see, understanding of life can only be revealed to us when we look deeper, when we look beyond my conditioned self. Like somebody gives you a telescope and shows you a view and says, see this view. And we look through that telescope and see the view clearly, what is really in front of us. This I is somewhat like that. This identity is somewhat like that. A prism, so to say, from where we can see life clearly. We can understand the view of life and what is life. This is what we covered in the last session. पहला वस्त्र सजान के ताकि चे व्यापार. First, let's know the product, and then we should trade in it. So we go into this I in the concept of how it relates to me. You see, man is a divided entity, conflicted from its core. The human being is in conflict from its core, incomplete. Incomplete. Why do I say incomplete? You see, in nature, you don't need to teach a tree how to become a tree. We don't need to teach a dog how to be like a dog, or a fish how to swim in the water and become a fish. So, whatever it is living. A tree is a tree and it's living the form of a tree. But a human being does not know what is his source. A human being, we do not know what is the package which this I carries. What is the complete picture of this human life? I'm not aware. I'm not aware of the complete picture. We will go into that today. So, unaware of the picture, I'm taking all my decisions with half information. Or if I don't give a percentage, with incomplete information. So I am incomplete in my core. I do not know what this opportunity of this life is in its totality. Because whatever senses I carry, whatever senses I use and are naturally with me, only show me the physical world. They give me an experience of the physical world. But the physical world is not completely the entire world which relates to me. There is another aspect of this world. And for that, I need to go beyond my senses. And that's such a catch, isn't it? Go beyond the senses, but go beyond the I, beyond my identity. That is what these two aspects of life are. The senses guide me into my I world. My entire world is defined by my senses, by the experiences of my senses, what I see, what I hear, what I say, what I touch. This is how I know the entire world. And this is how I am defining myself as well. We discussed that in the last time of who am I. So, with half the information of what the human life carries with it, or incomplete information, I take all my decisions conflicted with the entire picture because I'm not aware of the entire picture. You see, this is not what happens in nature. That is the reason when we go and sit in a forest or go and meet nature in its own way with the trees, with plants, then it is soothing for us because there is no conflict in that creation. Whereas I am conflicted in my mind. The experience of this life is conflicted in other ways as well. Because what I am seeking, this completeness, or let me say, happiness and completeness both, what I am seeking these in the physical world, they do not, they do not live there, they do not reside there. If I do find happiness, then it comes with sorrow. It comes as a package deal because the reasons are changing. We discussed this the last time. This is the changing mind, constantly changing world. So if I'm happy with certain circumstances, the moment they change, I am unhappy. So we are talking about a world which is in conflict, that is me, which is always changing, always seeking, and then anxious. So the interesting aspect is that all my pains are also related with this I. All my dukh are related with I. The moment I have seen or known the complete picture of life and seen life beyond my ego and beyond my I will see that my life is not what I thought it was. So Guru Nanak says it in a different way. He says, "How mein dirgh rog hai." It's like a disease. So all my diseases, my conflicts, my pain, my sorrows, my confusions, my chaos, this all rests with Home. But then he gives the other side of the picture. Daru bhi ismae. The healing is also with this Home. We discussed this the last time, that Home is a transient, temporary phenomena. But there is a very beautiful part of creation. Experiencing the temporary phenomena of life, I can know permanence. I can be aware and experience the permanent phase of life through this experience, like this telescope. I can use it and know this total view of life and then be free of it as well. So, my actual freedom, my complete experience, and my rest, so to say, which is what we are all fond of, a rest in peace. My rest, my peace, my sahaj, non doing state of life, my anand, my truth, they all reside beyond the ego. Therefore, knowing the ego and going beyond it is trying to find Atma, trying to find Atma Ras. You see, our entire life experience is energized by Ras. I use the word Ras. We find joy and energy together in this word Ras. Isn't it like the bees, they go and sit on the flower and they find joy and as well as energy, food. They find nectar, honey in these flowers. Such is the case with our experience as well. We find life, and through life, we find our ras, our energy centers through this known world. And so we keep investing in the known world. A child is in school, excels in a certain subject, everybody recognizes him or her, then he chooses that subject to go ahead because that seems to be where he or she has found recognition, a rus. We find this in life in many ways, and so we keep choosing. But this rus, this energy experience, this fulfillment experience, which we temporarily get in the physical world, is connected to that ras which resides in our Atma. Gurbani calls it Atam Ras. So, as long as our Ras, our energy centers and joy centers are from the physical world only, and we have stopped there, then we have chosen a path which will give us pain. It's not as though we need to leave these. That's not what I mean. I mean, we need to be able to go beyond them. Like Rumi said, beyond right and wrong, there is a garden. Meet me there. So, beyond the changing world, there is a permanence. If I find that permanence, then my Adhar, foundation of my life, becomes different. And when I have resided in that I, which is beyond the changing I, then I am not fearful, isn't it? Because I am fearful in this life because I either am fearful that what I have I will lose, or what I want I will not get. These are my fears, are they not? So, actually, the awakened person does not value those commodities which can be taken away from us, because that means they are never with us. Whatever is there only in time will be taken away in time. They are not permanently mine, they are only a transient experience. Now I come to the aspect of acceptance. But before I go there, let me revise or revisit the core question which Guru Nanak gave us, the core question of the entire Guru Granth. Kiv Satyara hoi hai, Kiv Kude Tutte Pal. So you see, Guru Nanak likes the word Sach and is very intensely guided towards that. Sat Nam, that which is truth. What is truth? That which never changes, that will never be born, never go away. That is that which is beyond time, space, and cause. That which is. And Guru Nanak calls it Hukam. This is hukam. I live in this hukam. But like the fish who lives in water, unaware it is surrounded by water, I am unaware I am surrounded by hukam. So then, what separates this hukam from me? Hukam and home seem to have a very intense relationship. And Guru Nanak says, Nanak hukme je buje. Once you have understood hukam, realized and lived hukam, ta haume kahe na koi, then no one will say, I am, because I am not a permanent reality. So he says, Kiv sachayara hoiye. How do I get aware of the truth of life? The Atma, so to say. How I am aware of that? Kiv kude tutte pal. How does this curtain or wall of falsehood go away, which is my ego? He says, Kiv sachayara hoiye, kiv kude tutte pal. Hukam razai chalna. Be aligned with the hukam. And how can I be in raza of hukam? Raza is in alignment. The only way is that I drop my I, my ego. I go beyond the ego mind. Nan, Nanak hukam razai chalna, Nanak likhya naal. And whatever karam I have are written with me. Raza, in alignment with hukam. But hukam and home, how are they related? So Guru Nanak says that hukam is creates home. By order of hukam, home is created. Home eho hukam hai, paiye kirt firai. This is his order. This is creation's formula for life. Home, I am. Eho hukum hai, paiye kirt firai. And we are roaming and working under this hukam of home. But home is transient, it's not permanent. Have I accepted this aspect of life? Am I in acceptance that this I is not permanent, it is not truth? Am I in alignment with this idea that home, the I identity which I have, will not be forever? It's a temporary experience. Pahi parapat manuk de huriya. Gobind milan ki eh teri bariya. Chance. Am I in alignment with this thought that this life, this ego which I have got, is a temporary experience to move into permanence, an opportunity to move into permanence? So, if I am not, then I am not living in acceptance. And the moment I am accepting that life is this ego centered mind of mine is not permanent, then everything in life will be redefined. My relationships, my work, the way I live, the time I give, the investments I do, everything will change. And this is the irony of today's world as well. Today's world does not choose this hukam razai as its fashion of life, as the style of living which is right. It's not choosing hukam razai as an ability to understand life. In fact, it is in conflict, and we are constantly saying, I am forever. This aspect of, especially in our society, to have boy children so that my lineage will go on forever, to have businesses and wealth so it will go on forever. I will be even when body is not. Isn't this the thought? That's the thought. But is this really true, or am I fooling myself? That is, I think, not such a big issue, but a lost opportunity of finding the real potential of life is the main issue. I'm dealing with a product which I have not known, and I've lived it. I don't know life in completeness, and I have lived it 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. I don't know it. I don't know beyond the ego mind what lies. I don't know. I have not explored that either. So I know a part of life. I don't know it completely. And this is the conflict which I'm always living with, fearful that now when life will be taken away, or if something changes in my comfort zone, or what about the unknown? What's beyond life? There's unknown. I don't know what lies beyond life. So the yogis and Guru Nanak had dialogues in various places. And one of the key questions which the yogis asked Guru Nanak is about us, about our coming and going. Where do I come from? Where am I going? Where do I find my permanence, my rest, my peace, my sahaj, my permanent love, my romance which never will go away? Where will I find that flight which needs no fuel? Where will I find that blossoming which never fades away? Where will I find that effervescence which is ever blooming and ever present in my life? Where will I find that? The yogis ask Guru Nanak, kahan te aave? Kahan hai jaave? Kahan hai rahe samai? Oh, what a potent question, isn't it? Where do I come from? Where will I go? And where do I find my permanence? Where do I find my rest, my samana? Kahan, kahan hai rahe samai? Where do I find my way away from wandering, constant seeking? Haral barolo chakki chak, latu madaniya anga, pankhi pondiya land nasa. No time, always churning in change, constant wheel of change, the sansar, constantly churning me, trying to define me. But there is a great magic in this. That which is trying to define me is transient. I have an experience, possibility of an experience with me, which is non transient, which is permanent, and which sets me free. So, mukti, mukt, mok mukt ki sar na jana. In this ego world, I don't know mukti, I don't know freedom. All the joys I can get all the wealth of the world. The more I have, the more tied I am to the world. I'm not free. I can never be. Mr. Sufi question, he says, don't look after wealth too much, or your entire life energy will go into looking after it. He's found the key to creation, isn't it? He seems to have understood that life is not only about taking wealth, which I can't carry with me. What am I asking for? Do I know that? So, the raza, acceptance that I am not a permanent entity, lies at the core of my understanding creation. Hukam razai chalna, Nanak likhya naal. But we live the opposite. Ghalib, in one of his shares, says, क्यों ना फिरदौस में दोजक को मिला लें यारब, क्यों ना फिरदौस में दोजक को मिला लें यारब, सैर के वास्ते कुछ जगह और ही सही. Why not in this heaven I add some hell? फिरदौस में दोजक को मिला लें. This is how I live. We create a hell for ourselves through this I, through the desiring of more space, of more wanting. सैर के वास्ते कुछ जगह और ही सही. Kind of a disaster, isn't it? My wanting is not what I am getting. I am expecting that I will get solutions, but I get more problems. The reason again is the same conflict. I am unaware of the complete picture. I am unaware that what I am actually wanting lives with me, lives within us. That experience, nobody has told me how to open it. I read about it, but I am very confused. How will this life revelation open itself to me and I live in this raza? So we call ourselves developed a society, progressed. But you know, I am fond of a very ancient culture. They are the Mayan civilization. You still will find their tombs and their water sources under the earth. They gave us rubber. They gave us chocolate. That's what the two things which the Mayan gave us today we use. So in the Mayan civilization, they don't have a word for you. There is no such word. En lak esh. They say the other me. So this is a beautiful civilization, isn't it? They have found their spiritual experience in their daily life so intensely that there are no walls of you and me, which is what destroys our society. This is exactly why the world is where it is today. If we see the houses in Germany, in Salzburg, being washed away with rivers of overflowing water and complete destruction with cloudbursts in Uttarkashi, if we see 45-degree temperatures in Canada, please, I have something to say. This is directly related to the way I live. These are the conditions I have driven this world to, from the condition of my mind, from the way I'm living, from the conflict which is living within me is coming out as another conflict. And that's destroying and making everything acidic. In China, they had another floods coming like this. The entire weather system is under steroids. Heavy rains or drought, carbon pumped into the oceans, pumped into the air, into the atmosphere for the last many decades. So we are living in a society which is not even near the Mayan way of life. They may have died their own life. Everybody will die. But they are the ones who really lived because they found their spirituality while they were living. Isn't that a very beautiful experience? So the question which the yogis have asked Guru Nanak, and this is a coded answer, so don't get taken aback. I will explain what the answer is to you. कहाँ ते आवे, कहाँ है जावे, कहाँ है रहे समाई. And Guru Sahib says, Hukme aave, Hukme jave, Hukme rahe samai. From Hukam we are coming. The Hukam we are going to. In the Hukam we will find our rest. The Hukam being the Atma, the creation, the love, the Anand, the Sat. Like in this cosmic world, the rules are there in creation. The most stable body is the round body. So that hukam, everybody is living that hukam. All the bodies and celestial bodies in in our solar system and beyond it will be round. What is he saying? He is saying that once we have gone beyond the home and realized the hukam, then we are in a seamless flow of life where there is nothing which is taken away from us. We are living constant permanence because we are aware of it. Where we are coming from is also hukam, where we are living is also hukam, and where we shall find our rest is also hukam. There is seamlessness in our entire life then. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Or it takes away all the uncertainty and it adds an element of anand to it, an element of joy comes along with this hukam. Love comes with this hukam. And the ego does not belong with this hukam. हमें नामे नाल विरोध है दोए ना बसे एक थाएं. There is a conflict between home, ego, and naam, which is the hukam. Only one will live. So, moment I have learned how to go beyond my I, beyond my ego, then I have realized, and death is also gone. Because that's our ultimate change. That's our ultimate fear. That's the ultimate experience where everything which I is will be shredded away in seconds, minutes, I don't know. Don't think I can give it time. So we lose everything in that one experience. But he says, once we know hukam, then there is no death. Guru Nanak has experienced the truth of life, that which is permanent, and is tried to awaken others for this. And he says that about himself. He says, that's why I left my family and I have gone out. I want to meet those who are seeking it. I have to give them something. I carry something with me which I can give them. I am seeking those who are seeking this. The truth of life, the anand of life, the experience of beyond I. But what do we do with this I? Well, we live through so many different experiences of I. We live through so many different ways in which we understand the world through this I. But we vitiate all our experiences with this I. And one aspect I would like to discuss. Of course, this I is my country, I is my football, team, my cricket team, or my all the reasons for clashes. If you can see, this will belong with the I. The wars which happen, the conflicts which happen, there's all I behind it. The Pegasus, so to say, everywhere it rests everywhere. So, what we do with this I, one identity which this I also forms is the religious identity. So, what is the purpose of religion? To my understanding, religion is about meeting. about breaking barriers, about letting the ego go. Religion is about understanding and becoming aware of the spiritual flame within us. Rumi says it very beautifully. He says, in the lamp, the container is the religion, and the flame is the spirituality. We need to live that spirituality through our religions. But what we do is the opposite. We go into this religion and make this our identity issue, and then conflicts rise from that. What it should be doing is solving the problems of the world, but is actually increasing them, because we have now made this religion an ego issue, an I issue. I am of this religion, and you are of that religion. So I will use it to either suppress you, which is what we all do. The ego mind is like builds pyramids. It judges people all the time, and then it wants to place itself either higher or lower from the other. It's always judging, always trying to create more conflict. So we use religion and we create conflict rather than be awakened into our spirituality. Guru Nanak said a very beautiful line, and he says, Nanak sache naam bin, kya tikka, kya tag. What are the religious symbols? I mean for myself as well. What is the meaning of all these religious symbols if I have not known Naam, if I have not known that state of being which is permanent, which is joyous, which is the gift of the world, which is the Firdaus, which I have made a dojak. Nanak sache naam bin, kya tikka, kya tag. Why go into conflicts of religion if we have missed the boat of what it is supposed to be for? And it's not for one religion. I'm talking about all, including the Sikh religion today. We have used this to divide society because we are conflicted within ourselves, and we don't use religion for seeking inner spirituality, which it is what it is meant for doing, to find that oneness within us all, to find that zone where there are no conflicts, where my ego will drop, all conflicts will be gone, all fears will be gone, all anxiety gone, all my pain will be gone. This entire experience of life becomes painful through the ego. The moment we transcend the ego, Anand is the experience of life. Anand paya meri maaye, Satguru main paya. The only thing is that this experience can't be just got from mere talk. वेद कते बिफ्तरा पाई दिल का फिक्र न जाए, टुकदम करारी जो करे हाजिर हजूर खुदाए, बंदे खोज दिल हर रोज ना फिर परेशानी माए. Let's look within our mind, within ourselves, go beyond our changing mind. And what do we find? Na fir pareshani maaye. Then there is no worry. All our worries, all our competitions, all our stresses is everything to do with the I world, with the ego mind. That's a tool which we use to live the world, but that's something which consumes us, consumes our society, and now is ready to consume this entire world. Isn't it? Look at it. We lost the key somewhere. We lost the key to the door to ourselves. And in complete darkness, we are trying to know, we try to say we know life. Nanak Guru na chetni, man apne suchet. छूटे तिल बुआर ज्यों सुंजे अंदर खेत. Guru says that I am like, he's talking about me. Nanak Guru na chetani. I don't think the Guru, I need a Guru. I don't need a Guru. Man apne suchet. I am the aware mind. I am aware of everything. So I-centered world. So this entire world is centered around I, around me. Nanak Guru na chetani man apne suchet. He says these cases will be left in the field. Chute til boar jyon. They are the ones, unproductive plants left in the field, and nobody takes ownership of them. I-centered world. I know it all. I'm aware of it. Even when in one of these sessions earlier, somebody raised the question, I want a living Guru. I'm a little taken aback. I think a better understanding of who is Guru needs to be understood. Even for Guru, we want to put conditions. We can seek Guru, no harm in that. But let's not put I conditions in everything. I'm seeking. Let the I drop and the seeking will blossom. Let the I go away and Guru will be there. But the moment we say I, there is no Guru needed then. Even if there is Guru, we will not listen to the Guru. We will play our own games. This is how we live, isn't it? We still will convert the Guru into physical being and try and relate to it physically. Giving gifts, taking gifts, asking for this favor, that favor. That's what it becomes, a transaction, like with an officer. We don't know who is Guru because we have not become Sikh. We have not become seekers. The moment we have become a seeker, Guru will arrive. The question should be asked and the answer will come. The reason we don't know Guru and the Guru is not in our lives is because we have not asked the question. The Guru has no control over who will be the Sikh. And this is the beauty. If I want to be somebody's Sikh, somebody's disciple, the Guru can't control it. He cannot say no to me. Because it's not a physical experience. It's an emotional one. And how can anyone else control my emotions? Guru Amar Das very beautifully says, Gurudware laye pavani. Pavana, emotions. एक ना 10वां द्वार दिखाया. Intensely invest in the Guru and their emotions, and the door will open. This is how we are to live. This is how this life is to be lived, to experience the permanence of it all. What I am doing and you are doing, that's a different story. We need to seek truth, and truth will come. Gurudware lai pavani, with my emotions I call. Emotions are the lungs of life. That's how I invest in any of my subjects, in any of my questions. So now two questions arise. How do I go beyond this I? And what are the conditions beyond this ego world? We will meet Bhagat Ravidas today. He was the Guru. They say he is Guru of the Chamars. But Bhagat Ravidas, what a flight. My head will bow a million times. So he says to us, Ab mohe खूब वतन गह पाई, उहाँ खैर सदा मेरे पाई। अब मोहे खूब वतन गह पाई, उहाँ खैर सदा मेरे पाई। Now I have found a great country, a great place, a great state of being where I am looked after forever. Isn't that a powerful statement to make? Look after forever. Even LIC doesn't sell a policy like that. They will sell you a policy for your death, send you away at peace, they say, as though they control where you are going beyond death. Ab mohe khoob watan ge pai. And he gives this place a name, Begum Pura Seher ko naam. बेगम पुरा शहर को नाव, दुख अंधो नहीं तय ठाव. The city without sorrow. A permanent city without sorrow, my friends. A permanent city. Sada mere pai. बेगमपुरा शहर को नाव, दुख अंधो. No dukh, no anxiety, नहीं तय थाऊं. ना तसवीस, खिराज ना माल. No worries. No worries. Imagine a place with no worry. This eye is full of worry. Every day, this eye brings more worries to us. And the more my desires, the more the worries. Not taswees, and we are always taxed. Especially India, we say so much taxes, everything is taxes. Not taswees, khiraj na mal. Khiraj is tax. On my wealth, there is no tax in this country. Begumpura. I'm not taxed. Na taswees, khiraj na mal. Khauf na khata. Khauf, dar. No fear. Khauf na khata na tar zawal. No fear, no error. I can make no error. Can you imagine that? I make no error. Khauf na khata. No error. Na tarz zawal. No way of falling down. Here in society, I can fall down. Morally, I can fall down. Status-wise, I can fall down. Change can come to me. Khauf na khata na tarz zawal. Ab mohe khoob watan geh pai. Uha khair sada mere pai. This is a long Shabad. I will not visit the entire one. But I will invite you. Visit this Shabad. It tells us about the beyond story of life. Like Bhagat Kabir said in that other Shabad we mentioned, Asman mein aane leheng darya, gusal kardan boot. In the Asman, in the 10th door, lives a darya, a river of joy, which is what Rumi was saying. Live from your spirit, and you will find a joy of river. A river of joy. Live from your spirit, live from your soul. We don't know the spirit, we don't know the soul, we only know the physical. So this lies beyond my ego. I invite you all. Let's learn how to live beyond it. So how? So in simple ways. First is the relaxation. The moment I stop desiring, I relax and my ego drops. Seva. Seva is not mere work. Seva is anything good with love. Sev karat hove nehkami. And a desireless state. Finding love within life. Har prem bani man marya. This ego mind can be killed with love with prem, bani da prem or prem. Har prem bani man marya. Seva na, sev karat hove neh kami, kisko ho to prapat swami. These are small ways of doing this, of changing my life. But I think the first thing is the intense call that I want to look for this state of being, that I want to live this state of being, that I want to know this state of being where my ego is not, where I am not. There's a story of Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahans. Narendra was his name. He used to go seeking all these sadhus and ask them, have you seen God? So he always got confusing answers. And this one time, Ramakrishna said, I see him like I see you. He was taken aback. You want to see him? He touched his toe on Narendra's thigh, and Narendra started crying. What are you doing to me? I am Narendra. I am this identity. Don't take me beyond that. Read it in his book. It is saying that. Taken beyond the eye. How? How does this happen? So look at how Ramakrishna's life also. There's one more interesting story. Ramakrishna was a caretaker of a temple in Perambur. It was a Shudra princess, a queen who made the temple. She never found a Brahmin priest because nobody wants to be. This is the conflict in our society. This Shudra, Brahman, all these issues. So they know nobody. She never found a priest for her temple. And Ramakrishna agreed. He said, but my condition, I will not adhere to your timings. I will pray when I want. So here he used to open at 4 in the morning or 2 at night. Sometimes for days he would be shut. But there's an experience of Totapuri and Ramakrishna. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, where he was not able to drop the eye because the eye, the form of Kali was in front of him all the time. He was not able to go beyond it. And Totapuri showed him a way of how to get rid of the form, shape, imaginations. All this have to be dropped to go into the beyond the eye. I'll give you 4 words to take with you. We have to go intensely into understanding them. The first is Shabad. Haume Shabad jalai. Shabad burns the ego. Next is love. Har prem bani man marya. Kill the mind which is changing. Go beyond the changing mind. Use love. Naam. These are very, very intense thoughts, hukams, part of creation, which are our solutions. We need to experience them, not merely talk of them. And fourth, being a guru, which that lady said, I want to live with guru. What is guru? Satgur ke janme gaman mitaya. Guru is he who can give you a new life. And our wandering in life stops. This Guru Nanak says in the Siddh Gosht. He defines Guru role in 2 ways. Pure gurte naam paya jaye. So he who connects you with the naam, he who connects you with himself, that's not Guru. He who wants to use you for just collecting some more money, that's what it has become, isn't it? Pure gurte naam paya jaye. The trade, the transaction between Guru and Sikh is a naam of love. And in that process, he kills your I identity. Guru will have to do that. Otherwise, there is no way we can succeed in this transaction. The falsehood has to go for the truth to find its place and its rightful seating in our life. With ego centered mind, anything we build will fall away. So, how do we go beyond? I give you these four words. And then I have also mentioned what happens beyond the ego: no life and death, fears of change. We still may be living them, but in a plane which is not our foundation. So, this is what today's session of Who Am I brings forth. Of course, this is a very long subject, but the actual Who Am I will reside with us when we have experienced life, not talked about it only. That energy we all have to find within ourselves to go beyond my ego, to go beyond the structure I have actually invested in and built all these years. So I end today's talk here.